Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 10 here in our EMC to the Sky playthrough. Today, we're going to be doing some new mods that I haven't played with before, and we're going to experiment with some of that stuff. But first, I wanted to show you I did some cleanup on the stuff from Refined Storage. Last time, I set it up so that I have a disk manipulator in here so that I can take the old drives and empty them out and put them in. We have done some crafting to get to the 16,384K storage disk, which is the highest one that we have. And basically, every time we upgrade to a new tier, we just take this old drive out, we put it in the disk manipulator, it empties it out into that drive, and then we can put it back in for parts. And right now, I think we just finished crafting a new part. So we have 16,384K storage part. We want to craft another one of those. We're going to need 3,600 more glass, or 2,800 more glass, and 1,800 more basic processors, which is fine. We are producing them as fast as we can. Down here, I added in 7 more furnaces to craft just those, because you need just so many of these parts in order to make this system that we need. So that is pretty good. We also upgraded our crafters so that they're going a little faster when we craft stuff. And I did some work on our power grid. So I moved our power creation down here. I have it's 26 on each side, so 26 times 4 is 104 magnetic dynamos, which makes us produce 4,160 power, which for this redstone flux cell I've upgraded so it can transmit 6,000, so we're not quite at the limit there, and our line can produce 32 or move 32,000. And I ran that so that we have power running up. We also have power that goes over here so that we don't have the Stirling dynamo running anymore. These are all powered off of our power grid when we need this stuff from there. And up here I have done, with the power, I made 2 redstone flux cells, each that can transmit up to 4,000, which I think I put in it's 4x capacity, 4x transfer. So they store 4 million and they can transfer out up to 4,000. And I just split this so that should actually probably change this to 2,000 a piece. That way we're not overstressing our power system. So 2,000 power goes into our jetpack infuser, and 2,000 power goes to this side of the grid, keeping our controller online. So that way we always have power. I probably could increase this if I wanted to, but I also put a ton of jetpacks in here. So basically I always have some that are full. We don't really need that many, but there was space for 9 charging spots, so why not? Actually, I think I'll leave one empty. That way we have somewhere to just throw our like crafting grid in or whatever if we need to really quick charge it up or whatever. So we're gonna let that go. I also just cleaned up the floor, made it look a little nicer in here, did some changes with the lights, and everything looks pretty good. What we're gonna get started on today is we're just gonna kind of work through chapter 2, and I want to get into Psi. We need to do this in order to get into mystical agriculture. So we're going to just start at the beginning, and it says it's a magic mod that can do some pretty fun and interesting things. I've never used this mod before, so I don't really know much about it at all. So we're going to work our way through it. First thing I want to do, I'm going to grab a chest, and I'm going to make it an iron chest by grabbing some iron. Let's see. Make an iron chest. I think we just surrounded chest with iron, and that's good. We're going to teach this to our system. And basically, I want just a chest for this mod, and we'll put it over here above these other chests. This can be our Psi chest so that we have all the stuff we need for it. The Encyclopedia Psionica. So this is all the different things we need to do. We're just going to follow through the quest line and see if if we don't have any questions, we'll go there, but we'll just try to see how the quest line is. So to make the cat assembler, we need pistons and iron. So we grab a piston. Grab some iron. And then we can craft that. So it was like this and this. Don't know if these require power. So let's just put it down here just so we can test it. Interesting. Next thing we need to do is make the iron CAD assembly, which is just 4 pieces of iron. So that should be pretty easy to craft. And then it says, in order to make the casting assistance device, put your CAD assembly into the assembler. Cool. It did say we'll get more advanced versions of this later, but that is just to get us through to the very first one. I have... Is that not what I needed to make here? Casting assistance device. I did it backwards. That makes much more sense. That's pretty cool sound effects. It says we need to make psi dust. Psi dust is a major part of the psi mod. So this is made using redstone dust in the assembly. Let's grab some redstone dust. I think it's just a crafting? Or is it made in the... Let's see. Let's look at that again. So to make this, spell infusion. Let's look in here and see if we can see. I think we probably need to make a spell programmer because that seems like where we would do spell infusion. So we can make one of those. Oh no, because the first piece of psi dust we make without that. So to make this, we just take a I don't quite understand what we need to do. Maybe it's outside of the thing? Yes, that's what it is. We just throw a piece of dust on the ground and we click on it. That makes sense. Let's go back to our quests. We need to do that 4 times. Interesting. That is going to give us an iron CAD assembly, so we have another one to work with. And let's see where it wants us to go from there. So basic CAD core, CAD cores upgrade complexity and projection. Basic CAD socket, sockets upgrade bandwidth. CAD battery, you have an unlimited amount of psi energy to cast spells. If you cast, you have a limited supply. So if you cast a spell and do not have enough energy, it will draw from your life. Oh, well, that sounds like if we cast too big of a spell without a battery, it's going to cause us some serious problems. So let's craft some of these things. So the CAD battery, we just use psi dust, gold, and iron. So we can grab some gold out of here. So that was iron, psi dust, and gold. What else does it want us to craft? Let's see. So we need to make a socket. That is just iron with a psi dust. And then the last item that we want is a CAD core, which means we can do it like this and this. Cool. So we have finished all the things for that. And then with the basic CAD components, you can now upgrade a CAD device. So place the crafted basic CAD components into their slots and put the CAD assembly in the middle of the to craft the upgraded CAD. So if we take this, we put this in, or do we need to put an assembly? Put this in, we'll put this, we'll put this. I don't know if this is, if this is just outdated then, or what. I see. So let's go in here. We'll put the old one away. And so this is still going to work to make psi. Let's do a spell programmer. That's the next item that I thought we would need. We need a psi dust with 5 iron ingots. So we'll do 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's put this down next to that. Now this is very complicated, so let's take a look at our quest book and see if it gives us any more information. Developer can look pretty scary, but once you understood the basics, it's pretty cool. Your first spell will be Infusion. Simply right-click a slot in the programmer and search for Infusion. If you got Trick Infusion in there correctly, you should see green check mark next to the cat on the left saying compilation successful. Okay, so let's see if we can understand what that means. We want to look for Infusion, it said. Is there a search in here? This is pretty complicated, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and look through here to try to get an understanding of it, and then we'll come back once I have a little bit of a grip on it. Got the basics of this figured out, and I did some things to go ahead, but I'm going to show you the steps that you do. So in the spell programmer, basically you set up a spell, and in this case it's a real simple one where we just have Trick Infusion, and that is in there. So once we have the spell set up, what you have to do is you grab a bullet, and the bullet is crafted while you take a piece of sawdust and a piece of iron, and you combine them together. You make a spell bullet. That is then, you right click on the spell programmer and you use this device, the cat assembler, to put your casting assistance device in, and you put in the bullet that holds the spell. And so now if we look at this, you can see this now has Infusion listed as one of its spells. To make the next step, we need gunpowder. We'll do a couple. And we need cobblestone. And this is the main purpose of what we're doing with this PSI today. Now, you can do all kinds of spells with this, and that's something that we're going to try in the future. But when you use it on gunpowder, you get Solium dust from Mystical Agriculture. And when you use it on cobblestone, it turns it into Soulstone Cobble, which is what we need in order to move into Mystical Agriculture to start crafting some spells. And that's going to be the next quest we go into. But that completes the PSI chapter. So for now, I'm just going to put this stuff from PSI away. We'll probably play with it a little more to do some different spells in the future. I know you can actually create spells that do some pretty crazy things with it, but I want to play around with it, and then I will show you once I have learned a few more things. Put some stuff here away, and then we can get started in going into Mystical Agriculture a little bit today and see if we can't figure out how to do that. So put that away. We're going to keep our tools on us. I've been keeping pipes on me, and this is our new stuff from Mystical Agriculture. So Mystical Agriculture, for anyone who's not aware of what it is a mod that allows you to grow resources. So basically you create different seeds, and we'll start with the tier 1 seeds just to show what they are, but you can create earth seeds, and when you use the earth seeds, you can grow resources, so you get earth essence, and then you use the different essences to craft different things. So in this case, you combine an earth essence with nether essence, and you get a soul soil. That's the only thing earth essence is used for right now. Then let's go in. When you have water essence, you can craft kelp, you can craft water buckets, you can craft clay balls. Fire essence allows you to create sand and flint, as well as lava and red sand and soul sand by combining that with another essence. So there's lots of different things that you can basically grow crops, and then you can use the resources from the crops to craft different things. And you can get all the way up to tiers where we're crafting diamonds and emeralds, or we're even crafting netherite, or there are also, if we can find some in here, I'll show you. There are ones where we can create mob essences from plants, so we can grow all the different mob drops, including music discs and everything else, by growing the essences and combining them with other things to craft things. Now we're going to combine that with using Mystical Agriculture to get items that we can then EMC, and we won't need to grow large farms for mystical agriculture. We just basically need to grow enough to get them the first time. But I'm sure there are some, like for example, the Nether Star Essence, because they create Nether Star shards, which are used to make Nether Stars, as they can't be EMC'd, this is another avenue for us to get to Nether Stars. So if we make a large farm growing Nether Star Essence, we can create Nether Stars from crops. But so we need to do the basics of getting set up to make our seeds, which involves making altars and getting the very basic things that we need to do that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to figure out all the things we need, and how we're going to do that with using PSI, because the recipes have changed from what I do know about mystical agriculture. And then we'll get set up making our very first farm with mystical agriculture. Mystical agriculture is all about crafting the seeds and then growing seeds to get the essence. So we need the infusion altar and the pedestal. I went ahead and crafted those because all they require is red carpet, gold, and stone in different orientations, and everything in there is EMCable. So the red carpet I just made from red wool that I got from dyeing white wool that I already had. I taught our system how to make the wool and the carpet, and then I crafted each of these. Now I'm going to teach our system how to make the pedestals and the altar. The altar goes down in the center, and then it shows you where you need to put down the pedestals. And so we're going to need 8 of those. So we're going to put this in here. We'll grab 8 of them. And then these go right where it shows you to put them. It's important that they're in the right spots, but as you can see, it's really easy because it gives you an overlay of where to put them. The other thing we should get for this is we'll grab a piece of cobblestone and a stick. And let's grab a piece of stone. I'm not sure which way I want to do this yet. But basically, what we want to do is we're going to make a lever and a button, both of which are EMCable, so we're going to teach our system how to make those. And we'll put one here and one here. I haven't decided if I want to use a button or a lever. I haven't really tried it with the button. Might be easier than with the lever. So basically what this is used for is we put a seed base in the middle and we put ingredients around the outside, and then we give it a redstone signal and it will craft us the first of our seeds. So the first thing we want to do is make a seed base. So the prosperity seed bases are made using prosperity shards and wheat seeds. And as you can see, prosperity shards are not EMCable. So we need to craft them every time we need one. But we just need sawdust and diamond. So if we go back up here to where our size stuff is kept, we'll grab our casting assistance device. And the sawdust was made with redstone dust. So I'm going to see if I can do... I wonder if I can do 2 stacks all at once. Sure can. That should give us plenty of dust for us to craft what we need to. We can grab seeds. Or was it... It was diamonds. I'm sorry. You can grab diamonds from in here. And we are going to need seeds once we have the prosperity shards. So let's grab some of those, which are EMCable, fortunately. And then all we need to do is take diamonds, and then we surround them with the sawdust. That gives us the prosperity shards. And then to make a prosperity seed base, we do the same thing with seeds and prosperity shard. So we're going to just make a whole stack of prosperity seed bases. And if we look at our seeds, they're different tiers. So we have the elementals, and then we have tier 1. They go up to tier 2. They go all the way up to tier number 5. I think there may even be some tier 6 ones that are really crazy to make, because those actually use some pretty high levels of things. The other thing we need to make this work is inferium essence. And we have some that we have collected from you get it when like mobs will drop it. So we have a little bit that we did here, but not a ton of it. And so typically the first thing I do when I make mystical agricultural seeds is I make an inferium seed, because the inferium seed is used to grow inferium essence, which means that since we need a large amount of this, the sooner we can get it growing, the better. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look up the recipe for inferium seeds, and all that is we take inferium and surround it around wheat seed. Let's grab some more seeds, and we're going to use that to craft as many of these seeds as we can. So there we go. We're able to make 5, which isn't huge, but it's a start. And if we look at the seeds, it says if we grow them, we can grow them on farmland. It will grow with a higher growth modifier. So the different farmlands are higher tiers, but the very first one is the inferium farmland, which is just we combine inferium essence with a piece of farmland, or if we have a hoe, it's just a dirt and we can create inferium farmland. So we have 4 inferium essence left. We can craft a hoe. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, so we'll just grab a stone. And some stick. And we're going to make ourselves a stone hoe just to get us started with this. And that's EMCable, so let's teach our system how to make that. And we want to grab some dirt. So now the question is, if we craft this, this is also not EMCable. So we're just going to do 4 of those, and we'll do a piece of dirt for now. And we need to set up a place where we can grow some crops. I think that because we have a nice area out here with a river, it would be kind of cool for us to find a place where we want to actually do a proper farmland. So I think what we'll do is do it up here on the riverbank. We'll grab our water bucket and get rid of some of these plants that are already here. We're just going to go and put down some water. Need to make it so that we can put the water down. Go back up. Put this here, and then we're going to use our hoe, and we'll just make some regular farmland that goes out like this for now. Then on these last 4 here, since we made the inferium farmland, we're going to replace those with the inferium, and we can plant our crops on here. Now the other thing we can do is, now that we have farmland that's in place, if we have more inferium, and we'll get some more soon, we can actually just right-click on the farmland and it will change it in the world. And so we're just going to plant down our inferium essence, and we're going to let that grow so that it can give us some more. There's also in mystical agriculture some watering cans that will help do that. And so the watering cans are also tiered. So we start with the inferium up to I think these are in order. Yeah, prudentium is 5x5, then tertium does 7x7, the imperium does 9x9, the supremium does 11x11, and then once we get to the highest level, which is the insanium, we can water an area of crop that is 13x13. To make this, we need to make some inferium ingots, which means we're going to need some more inferium essence. We just basically need to let these grow for a little while so we can get some more, and we can look into some ways to actually automate the growth of inferium essence because we have mods to do that. Okay, we have worked out the seeds, and we've looked at some different options for growing there is the phytogenic insulator where we can grow the seeds and we get Inferium essence by using water and some energy. But we also have botany pots that we can grow them slowly with just putting the seeds in with the proper farmland. But then I remembered that we have power pots. So what I did is I worked up and I crafted our first power pot, which just used compressed iron block, copper, and redstone. And then the second tier of power pots also just uses compressed gold block, diamond blocks, compressed diamond blocks, and lapis lazuli to get us to that tier. If we want to go higher, we need to get into emeralds. And finally, the highest tier uses nether star blocks, which makes the crops grow insanely fast. It provides tons of resources, but obviously it requires us to get lots and lots of nether stars. We'll get there at some point, but for now, I just crafted the Power Pot Mark II. They're EMCable, so I was able to put them in our table, and now we can expand this farm pretty quickly. This, as you can see, grows pretty fast. It takes about 30 seconds for each of these Inferium essences to grow. And when each one grows, they give us like 32 Inferium essence. So this will be a pretty quick way for us to get a large amount of Inferium essence stockpiled, which means we can get pretty far into the mystical agriculture mod. I'm not going to do anything where I'm crafting all the seeds. We're just from here on out, it's pretty much just expansion. We get more resources. The idea is that every time you want to create a new seed, the recipe for it uses the item itself. So basically, once you have an item, you can use that to grow, to create a seed so that you can get more of that item. So it's another resource growing mechanic. And because we have the power pots, we can actually make some pretty large amounts from it. So I might get into some of these. I'm not going to make all of them probably because some of them aren't necessary, but this is a way for us to, once we have some stuff, to get a large amount of it if it's not EMCable. But like, for example, when we looked at the earth seeds, the earth essence gave us the ability to craft soul soil, which we already have access to. So like, the ones where we need to craft them are things where we don't have access to, or we need to, or the things that we do get are not EMCable so that we can grow large amounts, like the Inferium. But we'll go through and we'll figure those out. But we'll probably end up crafting one of each seed just so that we can have them done. But I'm not going to set up farms for all of them. We're just going to set up farms for the ones that we're actually going to use. But for now, that's all we're going to do with Mystical Agriculture for today. We'll get back into it at another time. That just basically gives us the basics. And we got our final stuff done with refined storage for now, as well as Psi we worked on today, which means that we are pretty set going forward. We still have a lot of other things to do working through here, but we're going to follow through the quest book to make all these things for Mystical Agriculture. And like I said, like a lot of things in this pack, these are tiered up. So once we get to Prudentium, we just use the Inferium to craft it. And since it's not EMC'd, we have to just keep growing more and more so that we can go higher and higher. And the same with the crystals. And then this actually has several different seeds that it wants us to grow using the tier 1 capsules. So we'll probably follow along with that, as well as following the quest lines here for the soul jar, which allows us to create the mob seeds that we will need. So we'll go through and we'll get these finished in another episode. The next episode it's been about 4 episodes since we did one, so we're going to do another building episode, and we'll expand our overworld yet again. And I think that it's time for us to put in a building to store all of our smelting blocks. So I'm going to work on building a blacksmith somewhere nearby, and we'll think that the expansion, as far as expanding the overworld out, we're going to work on going out in this direction from this corner and add in the starts for our lake that is created from the water that we have diverted for our mill. And we can create a nice little water area over in this direction. So we'll do that in the next episode. But for now, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.